Big show for you tonight. We have a very big show. Garry is absolutely cooked. He just did a podcast where he went full feminist ahead of his title fight against Islam Makhachev, which is very different than Islam's thoughts on interpersonal male-female relationships. And then Garry said some things about his family situation, to which his brother showed up in the comments, and his brother is debunking what Ian said, and Ian's team or the podcast, so someone is deleting the comments from Ian's own brother. We're going to get into all that, and more importantly, how someone like Garry can rise to the top of the UFC and have such different takes than someone like Bryce Mitchell, who's also a huge UFC star. What psychological differences they have and what that means for society and how you can navigate society. Because once you see it, dude, it's like, oh, I can just peep this from a mile away, because there's some things that are happening societally that are getting misrepresented that we're going to break down for you in today's video. It's going to get crazy. They got bizarre takes. We're also, because it's Bryce Mitchell, we're going to talk about the globe. And if that's the accurate shape, there's a dude online right now offering 3 Bitcoin to anyone who believes we're on a globe and can prove it. So if you can do that, I'm going to tell you about that. You can go get some money. You can get 3 Bitcoins right now. It's like probably 190 grand or something like that in Bitcoin. You can get that today if you can prove that we're on a globe. So this guy's giving away big money. He doesn't believe that's the shape that we're on. We're going to get into Bryce Mitchell's takes. We're going to get into Garry's takes. I believe he's absolutely cooked, but there's a very, very good reason why. And once I explain it, you're going to be like, oh shit, what the fuck? So we're going to have some fun today, and we're going to get a little bit deep. My name is King David MMA. I am your host for the evening. I am a professional MMA champion, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I coach at Extreme Couture. I'm on the pro team there, guys. So a lot of these people that we talk about in these lives, I know them personally, and we can get to the bottom of these subjects. Also, let me copy and paste this into the chat. I see the chat popping off. Shout out to you guys. Oh, I got this button getting pressed over here. What is going on? Hold up, guys. Hold on. Let me adjust the set a little bit. Okay, just make a little adjustment there. Okay, that's a little bit too much. All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, Garry, we'll call him feminist, brainwashed, maxed, and how that contradicts with, let's say, Bryce Mitchell. So Bryce Mitchell's on the other side, but how can 2 people living in the same society get to very, very different viewpoints and still operate in society? It's one psychological difference that we're going to discuss. And yeah, dude, we're going to get a little deep today. So guys, make sure you check out Studio Millions. Studio Millions will get your coach right. They will pack their gym full of students who stay, pay, and refer. You know what I mean? And if you're in Vegas, go see the spot, man. They'll give you 35% off anything you want there. They got the cabbage, the lettuce, and the broccoli for your mind-altering needs. You know what I'm saying? If your hands hurt from bouncing them off people's heads like mine do, then you can put the CBD on too. All right, so we got John Dong in the chat, the original super liker. Hey, guys, listen, man. You can super chat, all right? So just letting you know we've unlocked that feature, right? We got Josh Silva MMA with the waving hand emoji. We got Arpon the Don in the building. Let's go. Real ones are live. Yeah, man, you know, real ones in the building. If you're a real one, let me know, man. Tap the like button. And shout out to all you guys that are in the chat already, man. It makes it way more fun when you guys are chatting. And guys, if you are a fan of Garry's thought process, you're probably not going to like this stream. So you could just bounce now. But if you think Garry is cooked, you're probably going to enjoy what we're going to discuss tonight. Arpon the Don says, my guy, Ja, what's good, bro? Ja Silva, right off the jump, bro. Right? We're already getting into it. Earth is flat, David. Says Arpon, my dog, 100 emoji, fire emoji. Flat Earth Dave is a real one, bro. Bro, so you know who I'm talking about with the 3 Bitcoins. You know who I'm talking about with the 3 Bitcoins. Dude, he was firing on all cylinders on the Brad Lee podcast. John Dong in the building. Do you know the MMA YouTuber? Nah. I would have to know his like little handle on here, but I don't know him personally. But yeah, I'll peep that. I'll peep that guy's channel. Shout out to that guy, man. If you shout me out, I'm shouting him out. Shit, you know what I mean? That's how real ones do it. All right, guys. And so, check out Fight Circus, home of the Freak Show fights. Let me drink a little bit of this caffeine. This is my second one back to back, and then I had 3 energy drinks already today. So that's 450. Dude, we're slacking, guys. We're slacking. I'm barely cracking 500 milligrams of caffeine. No wonder why I'm so calm and chill right now. You know what I mean? Oh man. Also, because I have the dispensary sponsor, they gave me some CBD because I don't mess with the other stuff, and I was like, they gave me gummies, and so my girlfriend was like, "Oh, what do the gummies help with?" I'm like, "Oh, they help with like inflammation and relaxation." So she took her gummy. She was out all day. Gone till November. All right. So I said, from now on, we're only taking those at night. All right. So Ian Garry is absolutely cooked, guys. He's feminist maxed. But in like the toxic version of it, man. He had some bizarre takes. Now, to be fair to Ian, he had some good takes as well. Okay, he talked about positive visualization. He talked about how he sets his goals. There's some stuff you could actually learn from the interview because he is a high performer. So it's like, how can a high performer be so cooked mentally to where he's literally going, guys, you need to know that if men just listen to women, if all we did was just listen to women and do whatever women told us, the world would be a better place. The world would be much better. And that's not my opinion. That's just facts. Men need to listen to women. That's what we need to. And I'm like, bro. So how does one get to that thought process? How does one get there? I want to discuss a concept, maybe even introduce the concept of box maxing, right? Which is like, there's all the narrative that's within the box. He's maxed out on it. So he's in a feedback loop where let's say there was a monkey, and every time the monkey taps its foot, a symbol goes off. Ding, 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 ding. And every time his symbol, a peanut drops or whatever, right? Like he's gonna symbol max. He's gonna start tapping his foot to get the treats. So in a mental, social, like a psychological structure where you are getting external validation. Hey, if I do this, I get validated. If I say this, people frown at me. If I say this, people like reinforce my belief structure, right? And so then I'm building a belief structure that's in alignment with the narrative. And he's maxed out at the narrative. He's narrative maxed. You get what I'm saying? So in his worldview, everything's working for him because it's currently working for him. Now, anybody on the planet sees the writing on the wall if you know anything about this dude who essentially, as a younger guy, was already on his way to fighting for UFC world titles. It was already clear he was that guy. He was going in that direction. His family, allegedly, from what his brother says, supported him through this whole process. And then a woman came along who wrote a book on how to land a professional athlete and have the athlete take care of your life. She literally wrote the book on it, pulls up on him. She's an older woman, experienced, worldly, previously married, divorced, and she sees a young guy whose success has superseded his experience level. Right in there. That's what people are alleging. I don't know the fucking facts. I'm just saying this is the story as it's told. This is the Ian Garry lore. And she does have a book on that, by the way. She literally wrote a book on that. That's documented. And he was young when they met, and she had a past, right? So anyways, Ian now lives with her ex-husband and her in the same house. Okay? So people are critical of that because that's non-traditional, you know? But if Ian Garry goes, but I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care. It's my life. And if my wife wants her ex-husband to live in the house with us, then I'm going to listen to my wife. And you all just a bunch of haters, and I don't care what anybody says because I'm able to look at my life and give myself critical feedback. Bro, you're deleting comments from your brother, dog. So what? So anyways, that's kind of like how we're going to start this with that kind of view of what's happening, is that he was young and he started, let's say, parroting beliefs. And as he parroted those beliefs, the outside societal narrative rewarded him. So he just kept upping it and upping. The same way he got good at fighting is the same way he got good at narrative maxing, right? Because he's got some kind of reward-based system in his brain where as he moves up the ladder of thing, whether it's MMA or whether it's regurgitating the narrative that men are dumbasses and women are just like completely oblivious to any counterexample or any like data that may suggest otherwise, anything like that, then he's talking about men's mental health and the healthiest thing that men can do is talk. And, you know, we need to talk about our feelings and like every single talking point down the road, right? And then he's saying that's why the no longer existing on the planet rate through one's own actions, where someone takes an action and they don't exist here anymore, it's higher in men than it is in women. It's because men don't talk. And I'm like, bro, that's like a very, very civilian take, dude. Is there no nuance here? Could it be, as a counter argument, I'm just asking questions, maybe the reason why people are choosing to end their time on the planet, if they're male, is because the complete societal contract is broken where men feel like they're working their fucking ass off and some chick is going on Tinder, running her body count up with dudes that are out of her league to date, but will run through her, right? And then she thinks those are the dudes she should be dating. She doesn't have to do any introspection or any work on herself internally at all. She thinks it's all good. Then one day she hits a brick wall and has a fucking bug out. But in the meantime, she's rejecting homeboy over here. This dude's like, dog, I play. And this guy is in the box as well. But he's in the box as a different character in the box, right? So in the box, which we're going to call like the societal operating system, he's like, dude, I'm putting in my fucking 10 hours a day at work. I'm busting my ass. And now I got to go out here and fucking hear these chicks tell me that because whatever their metric is, you need to be 6'4" with a finance job and you need to make 7 figures a year. Like what? Like, whoa, fucking single mom, slow down. You know what I mean? And so as that's going on, one could potentially see how, hey, this guy might not see any light at the end of the tunnel, because he's like, dude, if I just work more, it doesn't help. If I just lock in more, that doesn't seem to help. If I'm nicer, I just get called a creepy, weird, nice guy. Like I get run over, I have no course of action here. So they can feel helpless, right? Is that potentially adding to the situation? Which would be the narrative that Ian Garry is literally pushing, and then he's like disavowing the men in the situation for not talking to other men. It's like, bro, like it's way deeper than that. So let's take that. We're gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna get back to that. Now we're gonna contrast that with Bryce Mitchell. Now, Bryce Mitchell is operating on a different narrative. He's going counter narrative, which would be like, let's say, outside of the box. And while in previous generations, a lot of Bryce's beliefs were the narrative, The Overton window, which is the window of acceptable speech and belief, has shifted from Bryce Mitchell's way of thinking. For whatever powers that be are out there, don't want that type of thinking, and they want people who think like Ian for various reasons, right? Allegedly. Maybe he's easier to control, and if you have less men doing tight shit and fucking feeling themselves, then you know you can control. Anyways, we're not going to get into that part just yet, right? We're getting ahead of ourselves. Rewind. Let's go back. So Bryce Mitchell, okay, has a lot of theories. And a lot of these theories go very strongly against the narratives and belief structures that Ian would have to believe in order to have his takes on things. Now, why would these two clashing worldviews exist in the same society? Well, there's several causes for this. The main cause is that in a society, we have our individual input, but we benefit from a collective as well. And I'm not on some communist hippie bullshit, don't worry. But in order to be on that type of wave where, A, we're all going to individually pursue excellence, and that excellence is going to benefit everybody because we're all in this together, and we're not going to overstep our boundaries, and we're not going to abuse each other, right? We're going to govern ourselves in a way, like as individuals. That type of meritocracy can be very, very problematic when people abuse the system as a whole. And then you see what's going on in, let's say, fucking New York, right? Where people are going way against that. They're going the other way, right? Which is like, hey, we need total government to make sure that the collective is completely equal on this one fucking metric, which is, let's say, income. Hey, everybody needs to be exactly the same, and we're going to fucking make sure the government takes from this person and gives to that person, which sounds great in theory, but if the only metric you're optimizing for is income, that may not be the only thing that fulfills individual A or B or C, right? But in that situation, they're not looking at people as individuals, right? So back to the individuals in the society where Bryce Mitchell is moving forward in his mind, right? In that type of social construct, one believes that, hey, I'm able to do it, you should be able to do it, I'm putting in my effort, this other person putting in effort, and we're all going to get our rewards. And as a whole, it's going to be good for everybody. The issue with that comes with that type of thinking is when there's the other side of the thing, contrasting against that, then now we've got butting heads in society. And so while Bryce is more internally validated, like, hey, I don't give a fuck what you say, bro. I believe what I believe. And Bryce is looking at this as he's a critical thinker, right? Okay, this is all going to make sense for him. Bryce is looking at himself as a critical thinker. Garry is looking at himself as like, this is blatantly obvious. Why? Because there's two types of learning that human beings do. One type of learning that human beings do is firsthand knowledge, which makes up the minority of knowledge that we have as a human. The majority of knowledge we have is societal-based knowledge. Like, hey, man, and this is going to get into the shape of the planet, right? Hey, here's math. Somebody else invented it. We're going to trust it works. Okay, I go and I work on it a little bit, but guess what? Like, I learned it from someone else. I didn't have to invent math, which is a big, big fucking all-encompassing umbrella, right? Math is a huge fucking topic. But I'm able to benefit from that and learn as much or as little as I like without having to invent math. So societal knowledge is good for me, right? But the more societal knowledge that I blindly accept, the more in the box I become, like let's say Garry is in this example. And the more I start to get externally validated because I'm not the one that's generating my worldview or my, let's say, dopamine reward system. It's not internally validated, right? So in order for person A to feel good, they have to go back and forth with society and the narratives and, hey, I'm going to restate the thing and like, it's safe and effective, whatever the thing of the day is. And the more they do that and they parrot it back to each other, they're both bouncing dopamine back and forth off each other. Where this other guy is going like, bro, that doesn't make sense. How is it safe and effective when there's been no 20-year study on it? Like, what? And people are like, shut up, don't talk. Well, because those types of ideas that need to be completely adhered to without discerning thought provide a structure to society upon which everybody can agree in that worldview. Everyone in that worldview can agree, and then they can move forward together. Because if this worldview and this worldview are intermingled with each other, as you see, let's say in the United States of America right now, there's a lot of infighting that happens, and nobody can really fucking, my view is this, my take is that, well, another subject, boom. So pause that, pause this. That's where some people would say the concept of God comes in, not as a dude with a gray beard in the sky, but as a word above the word of everything else, which is why like they talk in some religious texts that God is the word. Well, because when two people are arguing, they have to default to something that's been tested over time as true, that they can both agree is above their opinion. Now you remove that, and now you can start to push a narrative that may be beneficial to you, but not beneficial to the people who believe it. Going back to Bryce. So now Bryce is on Instagram, YouTube, everything going, hey man, I don't believe there's a globe. And people are going, you're crazy, bro. Read a fucking book. And he's like, hey, have you ever looked into who publishes the books? Have you ever looked into the fact that before 1910, all the books said something else and then this shape just showed up and then everybody went and like, now he's going down rabbit holes because he's independently thinking and independently validated. But the problem with that thinking, as much as I'm sure a lot of us tend to lean more in that direction, is then your entire worldview is based on like, dude, I don't know anything. I don't trust anything. I don't anything, right? And so then hypothetically speaking, let's say 9 times out of 10, you're right, but this one time you're wrong. And this one time is something super critical that everybody on the planet needs to fucking get on board with, right? And you're like, dog, I don't listen to society. Now you're doing something that's counterproductive to the planet in this thought experiment that we're running. So essentially, Bryce is seeking answers outside of the narrative because the Overton window has switched. The Overton window has moved to the narrative which Garry promotes and is rewarded for promoting, and that the certain aspects of the powers, not all the powers that be, but some aspects of the powers that be, want to promote that as the new worldview moving forward. But that worldview leaves men out in the fucking dust, bro. Like, no one's... and then the... not being here rate increases in men, and then you got this dude harping on the narrative just because men don't talk. And I'm not saying don't talk, right? But like, talk to your boys, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, that's not gonna fix the societal fucking problem that is wrecking things. And there's this fucking societal like tidal wave that no one's addressing, and they're like, oh, bro, I'm thinking we're just here on the beach. Look at that grain of sand down there. It's like, dude, there's a tidal wave coming, bro. There's a fucking tidal wave coming. So anyways, I was watching this podcast, and it was Bradley, Real Bradley. He's dropping bombs. That's his name of his podcast. And he has a lot of controversial guests on there, and he asks questions. So today's guest was a dude named, how can I say? I don't want to say the word on here. Let's say you had a plate. The plate would be flat, right? Now, the Earth's obviously a globe, right? But like plate Earth Dave, he believes that we're not on a globe. And he's clearly wrong. But Brad's questioning him, going like, dude, well, how did you come to this belief? So Brad goes live on Instagram. He goes, hey, man, this guy's giving away 3 fucking Bitcoin to anyone who can prove him wrong. If you can prove that that's the shape, he'll give you 3 Bitcoin. So people start hopping in with questions. But a lot of the people that don't agree with him just got mad. And it's like, why would the shape of a planet make someone so mad? And this is why. Because when one structures their worldview on a societal knowledge basis, where they're going to subconsciously, unconsciously, however they got there, trust that the world they're living in is what it is told to them to be, they can then move forward in society in a way where, like, hey, things are this way. I can build a foundation of beliefs. All my beliefs can be built upon that foundation. And I have an entire fucking belief structure in my head that I'm operating on, because one's amygdala in their brain is designed to sense danger, right? And if you were to break the structure and all that collapses and all they're faced with was the unknown, then your amygdala in your brain is like unknown thing, unknown thing, unknown thing. And it's danger, 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 danger. But in order to be able to operate in society, you can't be danger, danger, danger all the time. You got to be like trust, trust, trust. Oh, is that danger? Trust, 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 right? And so as you're talking about their fundamental worldview and challenging it, that's why they get so fucking mad at the people that have a different worldview. Because now we've got 2 conflicting foundational structures and how one builds their beliefs and the other group builds their beliefs. And one is like independent thought. Hey, if this piece doesn't work, I just replace it with the new piece. And as I learn more information, I just replace pieces. This other one goes, dude, if I remove this piece, everything is built on that piece. I cannot remove this piece because the whole fucking Jenga will crumble. And this other side is more just like random pieces on a board, right? Like, hey, if I take this checker off, I could just put a different checker there, right? So imagine a board with a bunch of pieces, but the pieces aren't interconnected, right? You could move a piece on and off at will and it won't affect the board. But if you built this board with a piece on the bottom, a piece above it, a piece above it, a piece. If you took the bottom piece out, the whole thing collapses. That makes someone feel fucking intense fear and like uncertainty. And then they're going to go, fuck that guy. That guy's fucking stupid. Whoa, read a fucking book. And the other guy's like, dude, bro, what do you mean read a book? I'm just outside looking and I go like, hey, the sunlight comes at an angle. Wouldn't that mean that there's a point that we can just, based on math, like, take the triangle and like that's where and then we could calculate the distance. And then someone else is like, shut up. And now we got these people beeping. And I'm using this as one example in society. But when you start understanding that people have different boards on which they either build their beliefs in like a pattern, right, out where you can just remove one and replace it with another one, given better information, and another part of society has it built on top of itself, right? That if you remove one, everything crumbles. Now you can understand why people are so adamant in fucking going at each other, right? Because this group's like, dude, I'm just taking a piece off the board. And this other group's going like, dude, you're crushing my foundation. And no one is super aware that either of these types of belief structures are the structures from which we're operating. Anyways, let me read the chat real quick. We're going to get back into it in 1 second. I'm popping off. Garry is out to lunch. Great fighter, but out to lunch, bro. Dude, yeah, Ian and I disagree on a lot of things. I like my earth and my women round. Hey, let's go, bro. Let's go, man. I was showing my girlfriend the earth debate out there. And, she's actually who inspired me to do this video because I started talking to her about this. She's got a degree in philosophy as well. She's like a fucking genius. She got a 4.0 at Berkeley. Fucking stunner, dime piece genius. Anyways. So I keep telling, I love my girlfriend. Anyways, and not on some Garry type shit. All right. No, like, I love her on the other side of the equation. You know what I mean? Like I'm like the divine masculine and she's the divine feminine. You know what I mean? And we have polarity, right? That's a whole other That's a whole other subject for another life. But yeah, so I was talking to her about it and I was explaining to her that I believe this is why people argue over this and that there's not really a consolidated way of settling debates in our society currently, because it's not about the issue, it's about the way the issues cause beliefs that are structured in either flat ways or like stacked ways. And if someone has spread out beliefs, they can easily interchange them. And if someone has stacked beliefs, removing beliefs is very, very dangerous to one's psyche. And here's a hot take. I believe most of us probably have a little bit of both. There's some subjects where we built beliefs on top of, and there's other subjects where we're like, dude, we could just fucking mix and match these to fucking suit whatever new information comes our way, right? And so when you see somebody like Ian Garry, this is why dudes get wrecked too, because they go with the narrative. Hey, I'm doing this. I'm pleasing my wife. I'm going here. I'm doing. Women are right. Women are better about everything. Dudes are doofuses. Guys are stupid. Honey, my girlfriend. Right, like all that. And then that chick bounces. That dude's like, I did everything right. I did everything society told me to. And I hope his wife never leaves him. Hope they stay together forever. Hope they're happy. Hope all that. Right. You know what I'm saying? We make a lot of jokes about the husband from the previous marriage living in the crib. We could do that, right? We're just not even going to go there. Okay? I wish good things on Ian Garry, even though I disagree with his worldview, right? And I agree with a lot of the shit he was saying about visualization and all this shit. But like, I mean, he also has like a turtle with a hat tattooed on him because his wife got him a children's book. I mean, like, he's locked in on that worldview. And I hope it never happens to him. But you guys have seen it happen to some of your friends, I'm sure, where they're very subordinate to their woman. They do everything their woman wants. They please their woman. They do da-da-da. The woman bounces and the dude's wrecked. And it's not just because of the woman. It's because when she left, the bottom piece was tied to her. And she fucking ripped it out with her, and his whole fucking structure, he's like, fuck, now I have to question, is anything true? What am I? Who am I as a man? Everything I built myself on as an identity is gone now. All the stuff I believed, everything I put into society, I did my best, I tried, it's all fucking wrecked because he thought it was working for him. And this imaginary guy who we all have met at one time or another in our lives, we are like, dude, bro. Let's be a little objective here. Men have pluses and minuses. Women have pluses and minuses. And that's what makes us different. And in a lot of ways, we can be like equal value as human beings, but we have different roles inside a relationship, right? I'm not even sure if I can say, I want to continue on that topic. I don't know if, because of the Overton window, what can I say on here? Am I allowed to think that there's differences? And like, if we honor our differences and celebrate our differences in a male-female relationship, that's probably the healthiest way to do it, instead of believing one is always good and always right and the other one is always bad and stupid. And then we wonder why the high rates of bad things done to men by the same person doing things to themselves is so high. It's like, dude, you've told the dude his whole life that he's bad for being he's toxic, he's this, he's that, and then you send him out to work and then he doesn't get a reward, and then he goes on a dating app and he gets fucking ignored. You know what I mean? And then we're wondering why this is, and then in the situation like where he did do the right thing and he got the right and he did everything and and then she bounced and he's like, dude, what the fuck? What's wrong with society? So anyways, maybe it's a little deeper than what Ian Garry was popping off about today. So as far as Bryce Mitchell's theories, right? It's almost outside of the Overton window for him to go, hey man, I believe in the Bible, right? And then people are like, whoa, bro, that's fucking far out. And it's like for a long time, that's how society operated. And then people go, some dude's got to take the Bible's a control mechanism. They put it in there to control society. It's like, dog, if society benefits from it, then that's a good form of control. Why is all control bad, right? Let's imagine that they're hypothetically, just as a thought experiment, I'm not asking you to believe this, just as a thought experiment, there was a God and he was like, hey man, you guys are out of control. Let me put some order in here. Here's like 10 things to follow, right? And then I wrote a book to like flesh it out for you with some examples. And the examples are written so well that if you want to believe them literally, they could be a literal story, right? But if you want to believe them in like an allegory type of way, they have a deep meaning written within them. So for instance, did a guy really go in the belly of a whale and exhibit bravery to save his own father, right? Oh man, that's brave to go in the belly of a whale. So someone on that level can understand the story. And then someone on another level could look at it like, oh, interesting. Well, he went into the darkness. What is that? That's the unknown. Why did he go there? To save his father. Well, what does his father represent? His father represents all the men in his lineage that came before him. Well, why is that significant? Because maybe in order to be the ultimate best version of yourself and honor the lineage from which you came, you have to go into the unknown and do things that are scary to bring out the best version of you. So there's an allegorical element to it, at the same time that someone who can't get that deep can also get meaning out of it, like a children's book. And so one could look at the book as like a masterpiece in writing, fictional writing, non-fictional writing, whatever level you want to look at it on, if you're open-minded to it, right? And then go, hey, why did I assume control was bad? Why is total fucking freedom the ideal, which we've all thoughtfully agreed upon is better? I don't want to be control. Dude, you don't want control. Dog, you don't want fucking police officers? Like, bro, like, well, I want anarchy, bro. Like, what are you talking about, dog? You know what the fuck that means, dog? Bro, go to a different country. See how you feel. Do this. Drive your ass down to San Diego, okay? And just go across the border. Hear the fucking giant door clink behind you, clink, clink, and you're like, oh shit, I'm in a different country now. And as you walk into Mexico and it begins to stink like raw sewage because they don't have the same type of plumbing systems that we have in America, and then you're confronted by poverty, real poverty. I'm talking shoeless children in the street running up to you trying to sell you chicle, gum, right? And then if you happen to have kindness and generosity in your heart and you want to help this child, you give them money, then a swarm of them come up because they see you're the dude with the dough, right? And then you go, oh, fuck, I'm not in America anymore, right? Then you see, oh, shit, I'm getting into a taxi. Dude, is this guy seeing me as a tourist who's going to take me to get fucking robbed? You know what I mean? Like, bro, now you got to be super street smart and super aware. Like, hey, man, and your phone may not work once you get over the border because they got a different cell system. And did you upgrade to the international plan? Are you on the fucking, did you get the SIM card? Like, there's a lot of shit popping off, right? And so now you're in a taxi and you're like, take me to the party street. Because I've heard Tijuana's a fun place. But now this guy's going off into some fucking neighborhood that you don't know. And you're like, how can I communicate with this guy to let me out of the fucking car right now? Because he took a left turn when I know he needs to go straight. And I can't show him on the GPS because my phone's not fucking working. He don't speak English and I'm about to get fucking jacked, right? Like, take me the fuck back to America, right? And so some people who are like, oh, the Bible, like, dog, think about what that fucking statement means. I'm not saying you got to agree with it. I'm just saying that is everything fucking malicious? Is it all out to get you? Is there not some things in the world that benefit you? Like, hey, man, maybe having traffic lights is beneficial Because now people aren't just plowing through the fucking road, and now people aren't all stopped at the same place. So we have to use everyone's individual judgment and discernment in a different way, like we were discussing before, where there's individual discernment and then there's group think, right? And so as we approach the stoplight, instead of sitting here, we can default our judgment on, is it my turn or is it his turn? Does he understand the laws that the person on the right, when you come to the stop at the same time, the person on the right is supposed to? Does he understand that? Or am I going to, he's going, oh, no, now dude, or the light just changes and fucking 100 of us go. And then the light changes, 100 of them go. And then we have a societal structure. It's controlling us, the stoplights, bro. Stoplights aren't out to get you done. Oh, but they put cameras on them. That's a different subject. That's a different subject. Not all control is bad, right? There needs to be some order. What's a country without borders? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, you got me ranting. Let me read the chat real quick. Oh, bro, I already see the chat. Okay, so, all right, yeah, you know it. Tycoon Troy 100. Hey, what's up? John Hogan, what's up, bro? Good to see you tonight. What's up, dude? John Dong's laughing. I agree. I hate this whole man versus women debate nowadays. Yeah, man. What? And that's another subject, like that no one's discussing. Why is everything combative? With us versus, why isn't it could we collaborate? So that is one thing. When I was at Brand Risk, I know, crazy, right? Fucking kick streamers, life lessons from kick streamers and influencers. The level of collaboration at Brand Risk, the most cooked of all cooked MMA promotions there is, where they have actual special needs people fighting each other. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm just stating what they are. Literal special needs people can't pass an IQ test. I'm talking probably needed parent signatures, even though they're over the age of 18. I don't know how they got it past the commission, but there's literal, and I'm not trying to fucking clown. I'm being very direct. I'll say it like this. They literally had special needs people fighting. Whatever, right? So as wild as Brand Risk is, the one thing that Brand Risk had in abundance that I don't see anywhere else was the collaborative nature. I was in the fucking VIP, and maybe I'm biased and I got a skewed sample size because it was the VIP and everybody's treating each other super nicely. So that could be the case. But from my experience, and maybe I pulled up with Nick Diaz, so maybe I got special treatment, and I was there with the owner of Fight Circus, so maybe we got treated better than whatever, right? I'll never know. I just know what I experienced. And what I experienced was when I was in the back. I don't even want to name drop the VIP. When I was in the back with everybody. It's like, how else do I explain it? I'm just telling the truth. I'm not trying to stunt, but it was the VIP. You couldn't get into the event. You couldn't even get on the UFC campus. You couldn't even get through the front door. Once you got through the front, you had to go show your ID just to get a wristband. Marab, the UFC fucking champion, Marab had to show his ID to get a wristband. No one was getting by without showing ID. And then that was security checkpoint number 2. And to get in the venue, you had to get through security checkpoint number 3, and that's just to get you on the floor. And then to get in the VIP, there was another security checkpoint. So anyways, it's like, dude, I just say words and then people, bro, you talk about the VIP? Oh, no, I'm just trying to explain that in that section where I was at, everyone was super collaborative. Everybody. 6ix9ine was there. He was down to do a video with me. Now I tried to go live. I tried to go live on here. And there's a short clip of it because the live. Okay, so if you guys have ever gone live, because your countdown, 3, 2, 1, you're live. And your screen goes from gray to colorful. I start talking, and me and 6ix9ine are there. And I'm going, 6ix9ine this and 6ix9ine that. And 6ix9ine starts yelling his verse with me. 6ix9ine this and 6ix9ine. And we're vibing, right? And my screen's got color. So I'm like, oh, this is hot. This is how I'm starting the stream. Then I go, oh, bro, appreciate you. Now I'm going to go bounce and go talk to somebody else on stream. Because Neon's there. Aiden Ross was there. Rampage was there. Fucking Steve Will Do It was there. Hey, Big Mike was there from Logan Paul show. Like, the dude Palm Beach P, that's a whole other subject, was there. There was a lot of people were there. fucking Chris Brown was there, like randomly. I guess he was there to support Ray J. So, anyways, there was a lot of people there. Dana was there. Sean Strickland was there. Armin Sarukian was there. Marab was there. Me and Marab got clip farmed. It's a whole thing, right? And so I'm in the back. And I'm doing this fucking live. And I'm going to go get more people on the live because I'm like, oh, this will be actually, instead of me just yelling at a fucking camera for an hour, I'm going to have full on, like on megastars with me. That'll be dope, right? Maybe you guys would be like, oh shit, that motherfucker's, he's got some motion. You know what I mean? And then I'm like thinking this is going well. And then I go, oh shit. One, this is my fault. My phone's about to die. And then two, when I played the fucking stream back, because I shut the stream down because my phone's about to die. And the lighting in there's cooked. It's a whole thing. I didn't realize what I was actually going to. I just thought it was some, whatever. Once I got there, I was like, oh shit, I needed a whole streaming team. But that's neither here nor there. The videos on my channel, it's like quick short live with 6ix9ine. And it cut off the whole part of me and him fucking rapping together. So that exists, I don't know where, in the ether somewhere. Somewhere in the fucking, a different timeline in the past. I need a time machine to go back and record that again. So anyways, that's me fumbling the bag, me fumbling the video of me and 6ix9ine rapping his most famous song together because that's how collaborative it was with the streamers. Neon, everybody, Larry Wheels, everybody. Like, hey, bro, come be on my stream. And I'm like, kind of like, dude, because I'm from an environment called Extreme Couture where filming is forbidden. It's forbidden. I've literally pulled up. You guys see him in the chat. Moderator extraordinaire, Arpon the Don. Arpon and I have pulled the fuck up. And to be fair, his real name's Arpon. But you know what I'm saying? We call him Arpon the Don. But so we've pulled up. And the coach ran up on him and was like, bro, if you don't get that fucking camera out of here, I'm going to break the fucking camera. So now I got a whole situation because I can't be talking to my guy like that. Right? But this dude's also a coach at the gym and I'm on the pro team, but I'm a coach. But like, so now I got this political situation to navigate. So anyways, we have approval from the top of the food chain to film under certain conditions. So it has to be consensual. The other person has to agree to it. And we have to film in a direction that's not got a bunch of people in the background. So anyways, there's some stipulations, but that's how forbidden filming is at Extreme Couture during pro practice, unless it's by like the fucking UFC videography team. So anyways, that's why I'm coming. So I'm like shocked. I'm like, oh, you guys welcome collaboration? This is amazing. This is amazing. This is the most uplifting, nurturing, good feeling environment that I've been in any capacity in recent memory when it comes to filming. It was awesome. So it's like, why is everything always combative? And I understand at Extreme Couture, they don't want people filming and then you putting it up and then some dude who's fighting that guy and this guy loses out on $100,000 because some other guy watched some footage on him that you put up trying to fucking clip farm. I get it. But collaboration is fucking dope, man. So when I'm like, hey man, where are my real ones at? Fucking holler at me in the chat. I'm looking to connect. I mean that. I believe in collaboration. I believe there's enough for all of us. While we're talking about societal structures, countries, differences, when you step over a board, all that, I believe in the American dream. I believe there's enough abundance for all of us. I believe there's enough good things for all of us. I believe we can come together and help each other out. And if I have a fucking candle in the dark, and you have an unlit candle, if I light your candle, or if I have a dark one and you light mine, right? Neither one of our candles go out. We just have twice the light. That's how I believe. Let me read the chat real quick. Yeah, okay, so Josh Silva MMA with the hot take. Men are better than women. Fuck, bro. Josh Silva again. God was a man. Hard to dispute, bro. This man's spitting. Nah, you know, and don't get me, And then they talk about Mother Earth and like, where did that concept come? Anyway. You know, and then this is the coldest part. They tell us that we're in a patriarchal society. I'm like, dog, we're in a fucking gynocentric society, if anything. Look. What do we call marriage, guys? I'm gonna give you guys a business deal. I want to go into business with you. I want to open a fucking McDonald's, okay? But if I bounce out and start working for the competitor across the street, you don't get to fire me. We get to mutually part ways, and I'm going to take 50% of your fucking McDonald's for life. And guess what? Maybe we're not even going to start the McDonald's together. Maybe you have an established McDonald's franchise. I want to pull up. I want you to sign away 50% of it to me. And if I ever bounce and go work for the competitor, you owe me 50% for life. Who's that benefit? Who's that benefit? You know what I'm saying? And then that's what a marriage contract is. And marriage, why's the government getting involved? Well, you like, and then you start asking questions. If you're on the side that starts to ask questions because you have the pieces on the board, and any piece you can remove with a better piece, the second you get a better piece, the other, you know, anyway, okay, guys. That's why we call him our father, Josh Silva MMA. Troy say, LOL. One drunk man is smarter than three women piece. Bro. You are pretty gangster for talking this topic on, though, man. Respect. Hey, man, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, so some of these situations I feel are not well explained, right? And some of us can. God gave me a gift to articulate things, and so you might feel it. Somebody else might feel it. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm able to articulate what we may all be feeling. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and maybe that comes from having trained martial arts for so long and coached. I like to think that, like, you know, I mean, I believe, and not just me. This is my belief. Nobody has to believe it. I'm not trying to preach to anybody. I believe that me, you, I believe we all are created in the image of God, and we all have divine powers and gifts. That's what I believe. So anyway, the same way I'm able to articulate, there's somebody on here that's able to do dope shit in their own, whatever, right? Like, we can all be dope. That goes back to collaborating. I'm horrible at editing videos, doing anything with computer setup. Like, you guys see, I'm streaming from a fucking iPhone. I'm streaming from an iPhone. Listen, man, Larpin set me up. He got me a software. I could use the software for one day. By day 2, I broke the software. You get what I'm saying? So the same way I'm able to fucking rant for an hour straight on complex, deep subjects and like break down things that people may be feeling into like, oh shit. Well, when you put words to it like that, fuck, dog, that makes sense, right? I can't fucking work the computer upon which I would like to be streaming from. That's why shit's in the background. My shirt's backwards, right? So like, some dude out there has got fucking hype edits, and I'm like, bro, how the fuck do you edit that, dog? You know, and if he and I were to, this imaginary person were to collaborate, now all of a sudden I'm able to crank out unlimited content, and then they love editing. It's a gift from God. They just see, oh, that piece would go good here. Oh, I remember this one piece of B-roll I saw back 7 years ago. Let me go find that. Dude, let me run that through fucking AI. Let me get it high definition resolution, blah, blah, blah. Let me insert that in there. I got this overlay. It's coming in and coming out, right? You know what I mean? So anyways. Yeah, so I have fun talking about complex subjects. You know, and I feel like I'm getting better at finding current topics in the MMA world because I fight. That's what I do all day. You know what I mean? I train all fucking day. And taking those topics and then being able to weave in like societal narratives in a way that, you know, like it's a different vibe than like, oh, so-and-so's got a good left hand and so-and-so's got a good counter right. And it's like, that's cool. I'm into that. I watch a lot of that content, but I just don't feel that that's my unique lane. So, you know, I'm finding my voice, guys. All right, Josh Silva MMA. Bro, he says he's just rage baiting. Dog, you forget I know you personally, homie. While you might be rage baiting, you also might be speaking truth. You know what I'm saying? I know it can be both, bro. Why are we implying that it's not? Why does it have to be mutually exclusive? HHH Custom Knives, what's up? Real one. Hey, my guy, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I see all your comments. Even when you missed the live, you still drop real ones in the comments. Appreciate you. Guys, go peep his knives, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's all support each other. Let's collaborate. Josh says he has special needs and they let me fight. Yeah. I will agree that that some people have superpowers and it helps them fight. And at what point does the commission need to regulate that, though? Right? Because, like, I think, let's say Mikey Musumeci is a little bit more special than most of us, you know, but he's allowed to fight, right? Like, and what's the cutoff point? You know what I mean? Has anyone documented that there's a cutoff point or not? Arpin says, Extreme Couture is very strict. Shout out to that coach. I still respect him. Yeah, bro. Shout out to that guy. Those people don't know how to brand themselves better. Dude, and speaking of that coach, right? Like, his obligation to the gym is to get guys prepared to step into a fucking cage and potentially bash someone's head in, but unfortunately also potentially maybe they're going to get hit in the head too. So the risk of danger is very high, and the margin of error is very low. So he's got an obligation to make sure that no footage gets out that could harm someone at the gym. So the fact that I've got 21,000 followers, which is not a ton, but it's more than a lot of people, followers on Instagram, and I've gone viral a couple times, that's not his obligation. His obligation isn't to help me clip farm by sparring UFC fighters, you know what I mean, and then putting it up on my fucking YouTube channel. That's not his obligation. So I understand his obligation, and I have a different, let's say, outcome that I would like. You know, I want to be able to do both. I don't want to put people in the videos that don't want to be in the videos, but I want to start getting that kind of hot fucking... Let's fucking bang a little, bro. Let's get that content going. You know what I'm saying? Putting hands on people. The issue is, then you're torn, right? Because, yeah, so we're operating in a game, right? It's called, I'm going to spar this guy on camera. That's game number one. So if I beat him in game number one and I post that, right? I've won game number one. I got a viral view. King David beat up such and such MMA fighter or UFC star on video, right? But I've lost game number two, which is getting other people to fucking spar me on video. So if you go to my Instagram, there is a video of me sparring someone who went on to fight in the UFC, and it's part of a podcast where I talk about how Strickland would oftentimes coach against me. And I'm like, I love Extreme Couture because in a fight, you're not only going to have, there's going to be people there maybe support you, but if you fly to another fucking state to fight, the crowd's not going to be positive. Your opponent's coaches aren't going to be positive. So when Strickland is calling me all types of names and telling my opponent what to do in the sparring, I feel like that's an accurate look for when I go actually fight. So anyways, I do a podcast about this and I'm sparring somebody and he's going fucking ham on me, right? And I don't post any of my highlights. I only post his highlights. But now that guy will film with me. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, I shot some content with Johnny Parsons. We haven't released it. We got 2 terabytes of information. Again, superpower. Fucking rant on diverse topics for an hour. Go deep. Insights, right? Not a superpower, my editing or my content organization, which is why I like to go live. Because I'm like, dude, I just turn the camera on, I go. When it comes to, I got video ideas listed out. I got this fucking crazy idea about like insider information I know because my uncle's Hulk Hogan, about his friendship with Donald Trump and how he influenced Donald Trump and like all this crazy shit, right? But I want to present that in an actual video with clips of them together, the before pictures, the after pictures, the like ascension of both of them. It's going to be the video is so fucking hot in my head. I'm like, this is a great video. I want to make it for me because I would want to watch it, right? But that requires like editing and I'm going to do it because I'm going to force myself to do it, right? But in the meantime, I just hop in live with you guys, and then I have fun, right? And then, hopefully you guys are having fun and we're in the fucking chat. If you ever need to interview a chronically unemployed guy who buys storage units for a shop game, dog, that's crazy that they're doing the storage units on Zoom now. That's fucking crazy, bro. And then how do you flip it? You go on, let's say, Facebook Marketplace or something, and you flip the items? Because I'm genuinely curious about that. Because at one point, I was testing ideas that I see on YouTube. So Gary V's like, bro, the flip, bro, garage sailing. And I'm like, dog, you mean to tell me I can go make a G in a couple hours on a Sunday? All right, I'll go. So anyways, I go out, and the garage sales, I'm like, dude, Vegas is fucking hot. We're driving around. There's a bunch of bullshit. I'm not a fucking expert in collectible cards. I don't know shit about Beanie Babies. And I'm like, okay, so this ain't my lane. I'm like, what else can I do? I'm going to pull up to like Ross, and I'm going to go to the clearance section within like the cheap shit. And I'm going to find shit for $1 that I know sells for fucking $20 or whatever. If I can get something for $20 that sells for $150, I know that's dope, right? So I can put that on eBay. And so I went and bought a bunch of shit. And I sold a lot of shit. But a lot of shit didn't sell. So now I'm sitting on all this, you know what I mean, inventory. And I'm like, I get the concept, but the same way that like you're not just going to walk in and fucking be a black belt. I'm not a black belt in flipping. So I'm like genuinely curious. Like you get a storage unit and then like, what's the play? Like how much do you sit on? You know what I'm saying? Are you comfortable having inventory that doesn't move? Like I got 10 million fucking questions. Anyways. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about with Ian Garry and like the social contract that's happening in society that is where as the window shifts from one way of thinking to another, there's some people that are, let's call them early adapters to the new way of thinking that I believe is incorrect. So I believe there is an overarching truth of reality, and we can get as close as possible to that truth. And that's a good objective. And there's some things that are just inherently, factually just true. And in order for someone to benefit from an idea that is untrue, they have to suppress the truth, which is why we see the cancellation of ideas and speech and channels getting whatever, demonetized and all kinds of shit, right? Because if you present two ideas, the better idea wins. But if you don't like that better idea because it doesn't allow you, let's say it's meritocracy. Hey, whoever is better at making sales should make more money. So if someone has 100 phone calls and another guy has another 100 phone calls, the guy who's better on the phone should make more money. No, I'm not good at making phone calls. Everybody should be paid equally based on their time, not on their results. So if that guy gets 100 G's a year, I want 100 G's a year, even though I'm not making the company 100 G's a year. I'm a WNBA player, and I'm playing the exact same amount of time in a game as fucking Kobe Bryant played or Michael Jordan played. I'm not saying the other guy's name because he's woke, right? So you know what I'm saying? Anyways, the guy that's really good right now, really popular, and he's like got his son in the league, whatever. We're not even talking about that guy. But the same way that thinking, right? Someone who is not as good at producing a result cannot benefit from the thinking that the best results get the best rewards. They have to circumnavigate the merit-based system with what I call a political system, which is they are going to try and manipulate things and do shake hands behind closed doors and make deals and do this and like whatever. Change the narrative and complain publicly and then call people names if they don't pay them more money. And then it's almost like they're like extorting people like, hey, we're going to call you sexist if you don't pay us more money. And we're going to try and get your other thing that does make money canceled if you don't give us money over here or whatever it is, right? Because in that situation, the merit doesn't work for everybody. And that's the current pushback, one of the current pushbacks against our capitalistic society is pushback number one. And it's not actual capitalism. It's not 100% merit-based. That there are, at the highest levels, deals happening that don't actually benefit the people who have the most merit, and things are being suppressed. Like, let's take, I don't know, fucking food products, right? Like, oh, hey, this food product is known to cause a problem, but because the person that sells the pill to fix the problem also owns the food company, now we're going to overlook that because that guy's friends with this guy and he's the brand, right? You know what I mean? So that's pushback number one against capitalism. And the reason why I'm talking about the pushbacks is because I believe in order to understand a disagreement, you got to be able to articulate both sides. And so the other pushback is that, like, hey, that's dope for the high performers, but the majority of people are never going to be the high performers. So in relation, right, not total objectively, but subjectively, right, in relation to the highest performers, the mid and lowest performers will get less, even though their bottom baseline may be higher than any other time in human history before, right? Like, let's say the poverty level has never been a better way of life in America than ever before in history on the planet ever, that we're all living better than kings lived. We have cell phones, we have fucking air conditioning, we have running water, we have like all this amazing stuff that a king in the 1800s didn't have. We're living literally better than kings. Even broke people in America are living better than kings. And then, because they're not going by, hey, what's our actual quality of life? It's a comparative quality of life, right? That's the other pushback on capitalism, right? And so I'm more into merit. I'm more into that type of, hey, let's all improve and our results get better as we become more, quote unquote, valuable to society. And then somebody else might be like, oh, nah, fuck that, dog. You know, and then we get into what's going to happen when AI takes the job. So as we're moving to a new narrative, right, that is changing the human dynamic and the interaction between humans to fit an agenda, right? Because that agenda is attempting, and I believe a lot of times stuff that looks really bad is actually altruistic. Like, there's someone with good intentions that really thinks like, hey, if we just ignore all the facts and we just move away from merit and we just silence people that disagree, then more people will benefit from this other thing that we've created that's been tested before, that has never worked ever in history ever, right? But this time we can do it better. Some people probably really believe that, right? And so as we move away from potentially one into another, we're also getting injected with the AI. You know what I mean? And then what is human meaning, right? And so Garry was talking about doing less is more. And he believes that having more joy in his life will help him win. And as fucking sweet and good vibey of a message as that is, I believe Islam Makhachev has sacrificed every fucking thing in his life to be a UFC 2-division world champion. I'm picking Islam Makhachev. Anyways, guys, thank you for hopping on the stream. Shout out to the user SY for the fire emojis. Thank you to Arp on the Don. Reels, let's drop a like for RG. Bro, I appreciate you. Yeah, if you guys like the video, can you like the video? Like, it feels good when you do it. You tap it, it changes colors. You get a little bit of dopamine. I appreciate you for it. And anyways, man, either way, yo, you guys are real ones. Everybody in the chat, fucking A, thank you, man. I was a little curious how this conversation would go, but I'm very, very glad that you guys have some positive feedback about it. So I'm glad you liked it. Shout out to anybody that's rocking with this type of message. Because this is very nuanced, and we don't get a lot of nuance in today's society. We get it's either this or it's that, and if you don't agree to this, that means you agree to that, and then blah, blah, blah. And it's all combative. And it's like, dude, can we just get some nuance going and maybe we can collaborate together? You know what I mean? Maybe, hypothetically, maybe that would be like a dope version of reality for all of us where we all benefit, and then we're all like able to light each other's candles, and then we just all have more light together. Anyways, love you guys. Have a good night. Peace.